the NFL trade deadline updates. We had 10 trades. I got the most glorious trades on here, right? We didn't get all of them because some of them weren't really like worth speaking of, but there were a couple that were top notch. We're saving the best for last, so you can get wild and probably AFib on stream. But we'll start off with Zach Moss and Nyheim Hines swap. Zach Moss to the Colts for a conditional 6, and Nyheim Hines to the Bills. This is a huge upgrade at a running back room for the Bills. Getting Nyheim Hines, who's a great weapon out of the backfield. Any objections there? Seth, what do you think? Is this good? Who do you think wins the trade? Zach Moss, up and coming star potentially, and Nyheim Hines, who kind of has a.
This is 100% a win for Nyheim. He got his way out of Indianapolis because he's kind of getting overshadowed by JT. JT's he's banged up. Nyheim Hines is getting his opportunities, but now he goes to a team that, although Devin Singletary does a good job, Nyheim Hines is, I would say, 5 times better out of the backfield receiving the ball. And when you're the Bills and you're throwing it 30-plus times a game with Josh Allen, I'm going to say he's going to be way more productive there, and he may start 50ing the time with Devin Singletary, in my opinion. Zach Moss goes back to being a backup because I think Deion Jackson will be the guy that's going to be above him on the depth chart still. So he's still at number 3. This is a win for Nyheim Hines.
Easy. Barrett, quick thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this is just Bills needed a bruiser of sorts. I mean, they have Singletary, they have James Cook. I mean, it was a weird trade, but yeah, it's a win for Hines. Like, goes from the Colts, who kind of stink, to the Bills. But yeah, like, how much playing time is he really going to get though? Like, I don't get it.
I think he'll get quite a bit. I think Hines will get quite a bit.
Is he better than has Singletary? Like,
no, he's better out of the backfield in terms of receiving. Like what? Nyheim Hines is probably like top notch receiving running back in the league.
Dude, look at Singletary's catches this year. He's like,
doesn't matter, dude. Nyheim Hines is agile. He's shifty. Like, he's better on his feet, in my opinion. So
all right.
Yeah, I like him. All right, we'll move on to the Calvin Ridley getting traded to the Jags. Now, this is a weird trade. I'll break it down for you. The Falcons trade Calvin Ridley for a 2023 5th and a 2024 4th. Now, that 4th is conditional, right? If he makes the roster, it's a 4th. If he reaches certain incentives, it's a 3rd. And if they reach a long-term contract extension, it now goes to a 2nd-round draft pick in 2024. Barrett, what are your thoughts here? The Jags taking a chance. I mean, worst case scenario, they lose a 5th and a 4th.
Am I there?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's great for the Jags. Listen, like, year 3, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs makes a big jump. Burrow, I mean, year 2 gets Chase. Chase is a manimal. He goes to Super Bowl. Look at what Tua is doing this year with Tyreek, man. Like, Calvin Ridley can be that jump for Trevor next year. You got to get him weapons. A.J. Brown to Jalen Hurts, year 3, again, balling out, 7-0. Like, so Calvin Ridley might be able to be that guy. I mean, Christian Kirk's not a scrub, but yeah, that's a great trade for the Jags, man. Like, that's good. I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess the Falcons still got Kyle Pitts and they got that other big rookie, right? But good for the Jags, even though, boy, Trevor Lawrence is 5-20. So he's got to show something.
Yeah, he's not off to this great start. Seth, what are your thoughts on this trade real quick?
Very out of left field, in my opinion. Why do the Jags need more receiving targets? I mean, you went out and paid Christian Kirk. You went out and got Marvin Jones Jr., who's not long-term, obviously. So you do kind of need it, but you're also paying receivers. I just looked up Calvin Ridley's contract. It's kind of ridiculous. If it's true, it says he's on a 4-year for $10 million total. What kind of contract is that? I thought it was way bigger than that. It may be cut down because of certain stipulations. I don't know. But at that price point, it makes sense for the Jags. I thought it was way more, so I didn't really look. But yeah, he's on contract till 2024. I think through the 2024 season. So this should elevate Trevor Lawrence. I mean, you have to go all in on him right here, right? That's what Bear was saying. You got to elevate his play. So if you believe that Trevor Lawrence, I mean, you got to win your Super Bowls at the back end of rookie contracts, right? Year 3, 4, and 5, where you can get them on the cheap. That's where your Super Bowl window is greatest as a team, in my opinion. So I think it's a pretty good trade for the Jags. I just didn't expect them to make a move. I thought they'd be more sellers than they were buyers, especially for a suspended player that can't play.
Well, yeah, who cares about this year? They stink anyway.
Yep. I agree. All right, and then we got. Hang on, sorry, I got it on a ticker here. Chase Claypool to the Bears. Now I thought the Bears were gonna just ride off in the sunset and die here, but apparently they're making moves to get Fields. I'll give Justin Fields some credit. He is playing a lot better in the past 3 weeks of the NFL Football League, National Football League. Excuse me. He's playing a lot better in the past 3 weeks. Getting him a target as big as Chase Claypool, 6'4", like 215, who runs a 4.3 and can jump out of the building. That's a big time target for him. And I think Chase Claypool is going to turn into their number one real quick over Mooney, who is a drop. That is a drop machine.
I'm not in on Claypool like other people. I think he's a little bit of a climb. I don't know if he has what it takes to be a number one. And I'm not going to give you some statistic or anything to back that up. Just from a personality standpoint, I don't know if he can hold that pressure. I still think Mooney's the guy in Chicago. That's who Justin Fields' boy is. So, yeah, Nick saying he's got butterfingers. I do think I heard where he does have a problem with some drops. So the whole Bears situation is just weird to me. Like, I think the Bears gave up too much for Claypool because Claypool was a second-round draft pick. You just second rounder back for it. I don't know.
You want to know who? You want to know who else went for a second rounder? DeAndre Hopkins, and Claypool's nowhere near DeAndre Hopkins level. So it's like, I think the Bears gave up way too much. I know they got stuff from Khalil Mack a little ways ago, and Roquan Smith, Robert Quinn. But like you said, Seth, like, what are they doing? What, they're just getting rid of all their defensive pieces to add like Chase Claypool? Like, I don't.
It's really weird. If you're going to help Justin Fields, I'd want to keep at least my best player there for. Granted, you're going to lose Roquan Smith in the offseason. Don't think. Well, I don't know if Vance's next slide is Roquan Smith, so we maybe.
It is.
Go ahead and skip
All
to
right.
it, Vance.
Well, we're sticking with the Bears. Roquan Smith gets traded to the Ravens for a second and fifth rounder.
Okay, yeah, Roquan Smith. I don't think he's a part of their future. He kind of wanted out of the Bears, was very upset that Robert Quinn got traded. Offload your defense, bring in new offense. Kind of weird system for the Bears. The offense was just heating up. You just needed the defense to start clamping. So what the hell are the Bears really up to? A lot of Bears fans are actually really happy that that Ryan Poles is doing a good job with the Bears. So I don't know. I mean, Bears fans seem happy with it. I question it as a fan on the outside. The bigger thing is I wonder why the Ravens traded for Roquan. I mean, we had to talk about it. I mean, he's a really good sideline to sideline linebacker, but is that really what you needed? I think you needed more of a wide receiver to help Lamar.
Well,
yeah, I 100% agree, but it's like
it's the Ravens.
The wide receivers that were on the market were in division.
Yeah, it's the Ravens. If they see a defensive player, they're going to go get them. They've always been like that.
Yeah, Harbaugh's a defensive-minded coach, so that's just how they are.
Yeah, but let's look at people that didn't get traded. Is this a segment?
Yeah, sure.
No, I mean, did you already have this?
No.
Okay, so I mean, you got Jerry Jeudy, who was willing to be traded. The Broncos were open about putting him on the market. Brandon Cooks.
Asking price is too high for him.
Well, it's just his contract, really. That's the issue. I think people believe that Brandon Cooks is a good receiver. I think Brandon Cooks is a really good receiver. I mean, the dude gets 1,000 yards on the most random ass teams there is.
Yeah.
been traded around the league. I think he's a pretty good star receiver. All I'm saying is there was guys that the Ravens could have went and got to help rather than Rashad Bateman and Devin Duvernay.
And I don't think they're talking about that enough. Like, I didn't hear anyone talk about why the Ravens didn't make a move, but maybe they feel they're good. I mean, they're what, 5-3, 4-4. I mean,
they're up there. They've been winning ball games, but
to be fair, their defense has been cooked as of late. So
they've been injury riddled, but this is the same shit that the Ravens go through. The defense carry them through the regular season. They get to the playoffs. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Against these good teams consistently, and they can't get it done. So it's like, why not get Lamar number one? I mean, you haven't even signed the dude, so it's like you're just you're messing around too much on you're thinking your defense is just going to carry you through everything when your star quarterback hasn't been paid and you're not surrounding you with anything. If I was Lamar, I'd honestly consider leaving the Baltimore Ravens after the season if it was possible.
For sure.
I mean, we're looking at 2 franchise tags priced at $28 million and then another one at $32 million if he goes back-to-back years. So it's like kind of wicked. The reason I think, and I told you, Seth, that the Ravens traded for Roquan Smith is because they want to replicate that Micah Parsons effect with Pat Queen. And I think Pat McQueen is fast and agile enough to be an edge rusher, but it's like I don't. Nobody's going to be Micah Parsons again. I think he's a generational talent. That dude is just insanely good already. But if there's anybody in the league that can replicate him, it's got to be Patrick Queen. He's the only one I can see doing it.
It's Patrick Queen, same draft, right?
Yes.
Was he a rookie last year?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and Patrick Queen is freakishly athletic. I remember coming out of the draft, he was what top 3 linebacker on the board, middle linebacker. I don't know. I view him more
right before the Saints could snag him.
That's right. So did Kenneth Murray.
Yep. They even traded up.
I haven't seen Patrick Queen rush the passer, so I don't think that's something you can immediately do this season. I think that's an offseason build thing.
They show him doing a lot of run blitzing. So like as soon as the ball is snapped, he's shooting an A gap or a B gap, immediately blowing up the runs in the backfield. He's got like the most tackles for loss in the league right now in terms of run blitzing. And they're thinking they can transform that into pass rushing as well.
Which I think you're right. I think he's athletic enough to do it.
So we'll have to wait and see on that.
I don't think he did that in college, and Micah Parsons rushed the passer in college. So I think it's going to take a little time. But if that's where they're going, it's a good place to start.
It's not bad. I mean, give the kid a shot. Let him rush off the edge a couple games. If he does well, it's like, hey, you maybe found a person to replicate Micah Parsons. If he doesn't do good, you move him back to the inside and you do what the Steelers are doing with Devin Bush and Miles Jack. You play double linebacker set right in the middle. Same the way the Bills are doing it with Matt Milano and Edmonds. Just a double linebacker stack. That's where I'm at with it. All right, next big trade. This is the second biggest. Well, this is one of the top 2 biggest trades. We go TJ Hawkinson to the Vikings. This is a huge pickup for the Vikings as they lose Irv Smith. TJ Hawkinson to the Vikings for and they get a 2023 fourth and a 2024 fourth conditional, which will based on playing time. And then the Lions get a 2023 second and a 2024 fourth. Dude, the Lions got swindled.
Yeah, no. This is a dumb. Let me say it again. Dumb trade by the Lions. First off, you didn't get nothing for him. Don't act like you did.
Nothing worth that. A second rounder, it's like.
I mean, maybe if you wouldn't have gave up 2 other picks, it may have been close.
Gave up back-to-back fours.
One, you traded him interdivisional. You know TJ Hawkins is a good tight end. You traded him in the division. Bad move. It's always a bad move. There's a reason teams don't do it. Okay. But looking at it, I mean, still from the Lions side, you're trying to rebuild. You're trying to get your young core in there. Is TJ Hawkinson at like 25 years old not part of your plan?
I thought he would be.
He's young. He's like a top 5 tight end in the league. Or
build that core around TJ on receiving
makes no
the ball.
sense.
Yeah, Bear, what do you think?
No, I mean, yeah, it just makes no sense to me. I like what are they doing? I mean,
They're, from what I heard from watching other shows, that this is a mercy killing. Basically, they're like, just get out of Detroit, TJ. You're too damn good. We're wasting your time here. Let's get you out.
but they got talent. They got Swift, Jamal Williams. They got Amon Ross breaking out. Like, why trade? I just don't get it.
Jameson Williams, first round draft pick. He'll be back.
Yeah,
I think they're trying to get draft capital to continue stacking that defense, because the offense is not the issue, right? Obviously, you need to upgrade quarterback, and then the rest of the offense is fine, right? So you get rid of TJ, who's a piece who's kind of been in and out of the lineup this year, but when he's been in, he's been phenomenal. When he's been out, you miss him a lot. You get a couple picks, 2 picks to draft defense and hopefully revamp that defense, because that defense is like bottom tier of the league right now.
I don't know. It's a move where I think they already have the draft capital and they're not that many pieces away. I think they have Motor City Dan Campbell is the guy to do the job, in my opinion. I don't think they're that far away. You need to get a better quarterback. As much as I think Goff is above average, he's still down there in that bottom tier. And the defense, and you got Aiden Hutchinson, you got a couple of young guys outside. It's just a bizarre move. Like, unless they think that they can get one from free agency that's a little bit more veteran, maybe help the young quarterback. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. All right, Barrett, let's roll into Miami, who was very active on the trade deadline. They get Bradley Chubb from the Denver Broncos, and they throw in they sprinkle in a little Jeff Wilson from Miami. Just a sprinkle, a nice piece, I think Jeff Wilson is. But honestly, Bradley Chubb, when healthy, and this year having a good year too, and he's healthy, it's like incredible pickup. And they're looking to work out a long-term deal.
It's the whole reason I'm here in the hospital. It wouldn't go down, dude. The whole time. I had to.
And this is all because of the Laramie Tunsil trade that happened like 8 years ago.
I mean, listen, one photo changed the destiny of a team, and that Bong, because he was supposed to be a top 5 pick, a Bong photo released. Some people claimed Miami did it. So we get him like 10th, 11th, 12th, something like that. I think 12th. And then we trade that guy for just – this guy has turned into the Trey Lance package, which if you just want to go off easy, Trey Lance has turned into trading up for Jalen Waddle, our first Tyreek Hill, and now the last one, Bradley Chubb. And if our owner wasn't an idiot, we would have still had a first-round draft pick. But we don't have nothing now. This shows that the organization has 100% confidence in Tua because they have nothing, there's no way they could get any kind of new, quarterback or anything. So coming out. But, this is great. Chubb, Ogba, Jalen Phillips, Melvin Ingram. It's and everyone's going to get better because of him. Defenses are going to play better. You don't need to blitz that much anymore. Helps the secondary out. Byron Jones is going to come back. Like, man, looking good. Bradley Chubb is if they want to compete, they needed someone that can take down a 4-man rush, take down Allen, Mahomes, and let the secondary kind of kick back, then have like a Jerome Baker or something on a spy. You're talking about Lamar, and we'll see it. Justin Fields, we'll see it on Sunday in Chicago. Bradley Chubb will play. Jeff Wilson will play. So we'll see it. Let's see what they do.
I'm gonna address a commenter real quick. Billy Alcorn says the Dolphins paid out the ass for Tyreek Hill. Now listen,
what
Chiefs fans would not be saying this if they weren't in a great situation that they're in. If the Chiefs were to suck this year, they'd be like, we got swindled for Tyreek. But since they're in a good situation, now they're like, oh, you guys overpaid for Tyreek. Like, come on, we're just fine without him. But it's like without Tyreek, Tua's not having the season he's having. I mean, Barrett gave us a graphic earlier where he's got like the most passes over the middle of the field, over 10 yards. And that's because of Tyreek can burn you deep. Waddle can burn you deep. And now we're seeing just Gesicki that can kind of take you over the middle of the field a little bit now.
Tyreek is on pace to break 2,000 yards. He's almost 200 yards more than the second highest receiver. Jalen Waddle's fourth. The pair together have the most yards in the first 8 games. And this is with Tua missing 3 games. Like, it's wild. So, and with Tua in there, they're even better. I mean, they're auto starts in fantasy, both of them. It's just it's going good right now. Like, you just got to – it really does go with Tua as long as he stays healthy.